We're on to bigger and better things. We are going to now start solving quadratic equations. In the olden days, when you were younger, which was last semester, you would solve an equation that looked like this, and you would rearrange and get x by itself. I know this writing is small, but you'll get it. Now you're going to solve equations that look like this, and these are quadratic equations because they have an exponent of 2. And as soon as you get an exponent of 2, instead of all exponents of 1, the game changes. We're going to end up finding 4 ways for sure, and possibly 5 ways to solve quadratic equations. The thing you're learning today is solving by graphing. Before we get going on the solving by graphing, I want to remind you of something that's going to be important, which is x and y-intercepts, particularly x-intercepts. So last semester, when we would graph a linear function, it would hit sometimes the y-axis and sometimes hit the x-axis. The spot where it hits the x-axis or intercepts the x-axis, as you recall, is the x-intercept. So in this case, the x-intercept is the point 3, 0, or you could say the x-intercept is 3. That's another way to say that. But these x-intercepts are going to end up being the star of the show, so you're going to need to pay attention to the x-intercept. So to solve by graphing, you're going to follow these 3 easy steps, and we're going to take you through it on Desmos. But basically, you're going to take your equation and set it equal to 0. Then you're going to graph your equation, probably on Desmos, and then you're going to look for the x-intercepts. When you find the x-intercepts, the x values of those intercepts are actually the x values of the answer to your equation. So you're going to basically graph it and find the x-intercepts, which tells you why the x-intercepts are the star of the show. You should write these 3 steps down so that you have them by your side when you start doing the actual work. So here's our first quadratic equation we're going to solve. We see that it has an exponent of 2, so we can't use those rules that we used in the beginning of the year for solving equations. We have to do something different. And I notice also that this equation is not set equal to 0. So on that bullet point list I just gave you, the very first step is set your equation equal to 0, which means this 14 needs to head to the other side. I see that there's a plus sign there. If you don't see any sign, you know it's a plus. So I do minus 14 to the right, and I do minus 14 to the left. This minus 14 doesn't have another term to pair up with, so we just write it out. X squared minus 5x minus 14 equals 0. So now I've rearranged and set my equation equal to 0. Now I'm going to go to Desmos, and I'm going to graph this thing, and I'm going to graph y equals x squared minus 5x minus 14. As soon as I put this graph into Desmos, I'm going to look for the x-intercepts, and I'm going to have the answer to my equation. So here I am in Desmos, and I'm starting an equation up here in the upper left-hand corner, y equals, and now I'm going to punch in my x squared, x caret 2, minus 5x minus 14, and you'll notice that the quadratic graph has popped up there. Now if you need to, you can move this around, or you can go over here to these tools and change things like on the x-axis or the y-axis. Maybe I change the x-axis to go just to -7. Just changes my view. So you do what you have to do to see it, but according to that bullet point sheet, if I find the x-intercepts, and there's one, and there's another one right there, x equals -2 and x equals 7, those will now be the answers to my equation because those are the x-intercepts. X-intercept of -2, x equals 7, they're big shots in this world. So big picture, here was the equation I was going to solve. I rearranged it to set it equal to 0. I turned it into a y equals equation, and I graphed it, and I got my answers. And just like we could in the first semester, you can always check it. So I'm just going to check one of these answers, x equals 7, and I take my original equation and I plug the 7 in for x, and I work it out, and I get 14 equals 14, which makes me very happy. That tells me x equals 7 is an answer. By the way, in the first semester, we would never get two answers to our equation, but now we are getting two answers to our equation. That's kind of weird, but we'll talk about that more later. But the deal is this. The biggest exponent in your equation is normally going to tell you how many answers you're going to have once you solve that equation. I'm going to do another example quicker. Here's a quadratic equation. I can tell because it has an exponent of 2. It's not rearranged to be set equal to 0. So I move that minus 2x by adding 2x to each side. If there were any like terms, I would combine it with the like terms, but there are no like terms over there for this 2x to combine with. So I just rewrite it. Notice I put it in standard form. And now I'm going to change this into y equals 2x squared plus 2x minus 12. I'm going to head over to Desmos and graph it. And when I get the x-intercepts, I'm going to have the answers. There should be probably, but not always, two x-intercepts, and those will be our answers. So here I am over on the Desmos side. Here's the equation that I had rearranged to get equal to 0, or y equaled. I've already graphed it, and then I see a negative 3 comma 0 as an intercept and a 2 comma 0 as an x-intercept. So that tells me x equals negative 3 and x equals 2 are the answers to this equation. How easy, huh? So the largest exponent in my equation was 2, and I got 2 answers. It won't always work out that way, but very frequently it will. And if I wanted to take either of these and plug them into this original equation, they would both work. They would both make the left side equal the right side. I'm not going to take the time to do that, but trust me, it would work. So solving by graphing is just following these steps, using your friend Mr. Desmos to help you out, and you can get your x values without even having to do all those equation moves that you had to do during the first semester. I'm now going to show you another way in which you can solve by graphing. For lack of a flashy name, we'll just call this option B, and you can use either of these options, whichever one you think is going to be easiest. But for this one, instead of rearranging it and getting the equation equal to 0, just leave the equation as is and graph both sides of the equation as two separate y equals equations. So in this case, you don't have to bother going through the rearranging process. And after you've graphed that, you should have two equations floating around on your coordinate grid. If you just find the x point where they intersect, the x value at where they intersect, you have the answer to your equation. So maybe you like this one better, who knows? Let's go to Desmos and see what it looks like. So this is a problem we worked on before. We rearranged it and set it equal to 0, graphed it and found the intercepts. But if you don't want to do that, then take the left side and turn it into a y equals equation. Take the right side, turn it into a y equals equation, and graph those two and see where they intersect. The answers that we got using the old method were negative 2 and 7. We're now going to go to Desmos and try this method and make sure that we get x equals negative 2 and x equals 7. So here I am in Desmos. I've already typed these equations in. Here's y equals x squared minus 5x. Here's y equals 14. And I'm supposed to graph these and look where they intersect. But I look on here and I can only see one graph. It's the quadratic. But wait a second. Remember, I can move this around like this, or I can change the x and the y grid like that by punching in new numbers for the x-axis and the y-axis. But in this case, aha, the line y equals 14 was way up here. This is where they intersect at negative 2 comma 14. That x value is negative 2. That's the answer to the equation. And over here, 7 comma 14, x equals 7, is also an answer to this equation. So by graphing the left side and by graphing the right side and finding their points of intersection, I got the same answer as I did by rearranging that, setting the equal to 0, and graphing it to find the x-intercepts. You choose whatever way you want. So over here, 2x squared minus 12 minus 2x is the other equation we used. And in that old case, again, we set it equal to 0 and found the x-intercepts. But I'm going to go to Desmos and show you that if I graph y equals 2x squared minus 12 and graph y equals negative 2x, where they intersect will give us the exact same answers as we got when we did it the other way, which is negative 3 and positive 2. Okay, so you see that I've already activated 2x squared minus 12 and negative 2x, so their graphs are on the screen. Here's one of the intersection points at x equals negative 3. Here's another intersection point at x equals positive 2. I'm looking for the x values. And those are the answers to the equation that you get no matter what method you choose. By the way, don't pay attention to the y values in a case like this. We only care about the x values. Okay, so a final recap. We're starting to solve quadratic equations, equations that have a 2 for an exponent rather than a 1 for an exponent. And you just learned solving by graphing. We've got a bunch more ways to come. And there's 2 ways to solve by graphing. Way number 1 is rearrange your equation so it's equal to 0, graph it, and find the x-intercepts. The x coordinates, or the x values of the x-intercepts, are going to be the answer to your equation. But if you'd like a little variety in your life, why not try option B, in which case you take your original equation, you don't rearrange it, you just graph the left side as a y equals equation and the right side as a separate y equals equation, and those 2 graphs are probably going to intersect. When you find the intersection point, the x value of the intersection point, or the x value of all those points, is the answer to your equation. That's it.